Hi, Craig. Nice to see you this evening.
Hi.
Hi, Larita.
Hello there.
Hey, baby.
All right, I think everybody is logged on. Chelsea, are we getting close to our capacity? Are people still logging on?
Yep, it looks like people are still joining, but
Yeah, we can give a few more minutes.
we've got a good amount of people on.
Say hi, Miss Jenny.
We have 26.
Oh, where'd she go? There she is.
What?
Huh?
When did you?
Huh?
When did you?
Up here. You're supposed to wave to Miss Jenny. There she is. She found you.
Me? All right, Chelsea, how are we doing on numbers?
I think we could go ahead and get started if you're ready.
All right. Well, hello and welcome everybody. My name is Marcy Mendenhall. I'm the CEO of SAL Family Community Services, and thank you for joining us tonight for Skip Along's 50th birthday party. I know some of our friends who are on the Zoom cameras here have probably been around for 50 years, or maybe it feels like 50 years, but we are certainly glad to see old friends, old board members, former employees, present employees, current students, all with us tonight to celebrate us for 50 years. And just a few housekeeping pieces. We're going to keep everybody muted, but down at the bottom, if you haven't been on chat, you can hit the chat button at the bottom of your screen. So if you have a question, we'll be talking about, we'll be answering your questions via chat today. And if we have time, we'll be opening up for questions at the end. Does anybody have any questions? We're going to go forward then. And your cameras are all going to be on, and we'll unmute you at the end. Looking forward to answering your chat at the end. Okay, Chelsea.
Oops.
And here we go. 50 years ago, Skip Along certainly doesn't look the way it is right now. We have, of course, our early care and education centers, which is really the cornerstone of our organization. You know, that has been the pride of the organization of how we're serving early care and education of our children. We have so many children out in the community who come back and have such great memories, not only of the center, but of the people and the teachers that they connected with throughout the years. We are so proud to have people come back and say, oh, I was a Skip Along student. No, I was. And I remember when we used to do these great activities, or the one I hear the most is, I remember when you guys used to make us eat beets. And I always giggle. I'm just like, out of all the things that they do, is the food and the beets. But anyway, so then we went on to the Home Child Care Network. That was an expansion, a great assistance for our families. So you think about Skip Along, who are serving children during a typical workday. Home Child Care Network has been expanding now from Moline to Peoria, working with families who are second shift, third shift, nights, weekend care. Malia Owens runs that program and has done a fabulous job. We also have 2 child care resources and referrals, one in Peoria, in which we took them on in 2010, and in 2015 we took on our child care resource and referral of Midwestern Illinois, along with Just Kids Early Care and Education Centers. We also have our open door. Larita, you're somewhere here on the side. And we have Open Door, who has been a great program of ours, which helps us really expand the services that we have for children. That's how it started. We knew that Rock Island campus had a large portion of children who were coming in and out, and Open Door was willing to start a pilot project and be able to offer some services to our families to help with those transitions. I think we're good there, Chelsea. Earlier this week, I was able to talk with Lori Walker. She was the Skip Along's first CEO, and we have a conversation with her going forward. She was unable to be here tonight. She was celebrating her wedding anniversary, so she is out of town and just had her heart sick about missing this tonight. But I hope we captured her commentary and her emotions and her stories during this clip. It's about 15 minutes long, so sit back and enjoy the conversation.
Hello and welcome, Lori Walker. We're so excited to have you here to celebrate 50 years of Skip Along. Thanks for being here. How are you today?
Thanks, Marcy. I am pretty happy for Skip Along and everybody that's been involved for all the decades to be celebrating 50 with you.
Now, I just learned something about this today as you were sharing. Tell me more about, you were the 5th director at Skip Along?
Well, yeah, when you figure Skip Along actually got its roots, started back when social justice was kind of coming to the forefront across America with the assassination of Martin Luther King. And at the time, there was a group of concerned citizens.
Oh, technology, right? We're working it through.
Who met in East Moline on a regular basis, wondering what was happening to the child. And what they did is they went from house to house and began surveying the families to find out what did they need.
Please hold as we are working on the technology end of this.
During these tumultuous, uncertain times, and it turned out that childcare, affordable and quality, was the primary need. So these terrific
As Chelsea's working on this, on the bottom of your screen, there. Oh, are you ready, Chelsea? Okay, go ahead.
vision for the children. And they were the ones that actually got it up and running. And
As Chelsea's working on the video, on the bottom of your screen, there's a reaction. Can I just see how many with a thumbs up, if you press the reaction, how many people worked with Lori Walker during her tenure of 40 plus years? Pick the reaction, pick the thumbs up, and we'll count how many people has worked with Lori Walker in the past. Craig has, so is Brianna. Denise has, Larita, Malia.
I have.
Who is that?
Claudia.
Hi, Claudia. Jill, I see your Jenny Mueller has her thumb up. Oh, hi, Mrs. Zeman. Good to see you. Lori goes on to say, you know, how Skip Along was really embedded into social justice, really looking at how can we bring health, childcare to our, make it be accessible to our children, and especially children who were maybe living in places that didn't have access to early care and education prior to. They started in a church basement, which is always an amazing venture as we think about where we're at right now. As right now, we are about a $13 million agency. On any given day pre-COVID, we could have 1,000 children that we're caring and providing great education for. COVID right now, we're providing care for about 700 children. For those who may not know, during the COVID crisis and the pandemic, we've been having to reduce our capacity to make sure that we are having COVID mitigation strategies to help stop the spread of the COVID virus.
In a church basement, all of them volunteering in some capacity of one another, cooking or doing the laundry or keeping the books. And papers were eventually filed to become an official, formal,
It wants to work so badly. It
We
just,
want it to work as well.
I know. The good thing is we have this video for all eternity.
That's right.
So we can share it. If we can't show it tonight, we can show it a different day, but let's try one more time. Let's see.
laundry or keeping the books. And papers were eventually filed to become an official, formal, nonprofit organization. And so then they hired directors. And when I graduated from college in 1976 and I started with Skip Along, I shortly thereafter became the 5th director. So yeah, I had 36 years there, and full.
One of the questions that I asked Lori about was a question that Jill from our Davenport campus asked. How did we get the name Skip Along?
How many kids did you start off with within the church basement? And what was the beginning?
Go ahead, Jill.
I'll just pause it and go ahead, Marcy. Why don't you give us a little recap and we'll share the video later on our social media and website.
So Jill asked the question, how we become the name Skip? And Lori said offline, she didn't know because she had come in about 7 years after Skip had begun. So she didn't know the origins of the name. We know that our trademark jump rope is tethered between our Rainbow campus, which is our Rock Island campus, and how we incorporated that into the branding that we had over the course of the years. Chelsea, you want to try it one more time?
Budget, do you remember when you took it over?
Oh gosh, you're asking me to go way back. So in the
If anybody has any questions or comments right now, you can put those in the chat and we'll be able to answer those as we move along. We'll make sure this video is available for everyone because it is such a great oral history of Skip Along and our programs and all Lori's efforts. And she really gives an homage to our staff who really worked so hard in creating Skip Along, our brand, who we are in the community. But she really did give a lot of kudos to our past board members. Craig Schumacher was a past board member. Dan McConaughey, who's on the phone call or the Zoom right now, has been a longstanding board member as well. And really talked about, we couldn't have done this with our funders either. Funders and through fundraising. Through our Davenport campus, we really brought that campus together through some incredible partnerships in the community, but also through our Rock Island campus as well, and our Moline. We did that through collaboration and just sheer will from the leadership team over the past 50 years. So I think we're gonna move ahead with the agenda, and we'll leave that, we'll make sure that everybody has access to that YouTube between the conversation between Lori and myself. As we know, we have the Skip Along programs today. We have the Milan, who has 2 campuses, which was the former Just Kids organization. We also have our Moline, which has pre-COVID about 253 slots. It's certainly a very large cornerstone program for us that really just celebrates children. Our Davenport campus, I was just speaking of the creativity that was put into the building of that campus, really some public-private partnerships. And our Rock Island campus, which was inherited from the city of Rock Island, from the Rainbow child care entity. And then we also have the Home Child Care Network. I think, Chelsea, we're going to go through and do, for people who may have not seen it for a while, we're going to take a quick tour. Come along with us.
My name is Deb Bond. I'm the director here at Milan Skip Along. We serve children ages 6 weeks to 12 years. We have a sliding fee scale.
And Deb's on the line now. Deb, do you want to continue your conversation in live form?
For anybody that's interested, we do have current positions.
This was all working a half hour ago, of course, how technology goes.
We are going to take a quick tour this morning of our infant room. They are 6 weeks to 15 months, and they're all on their own schedule. We are doing a lot of rigorous sanitizing in here. And if anybody is interested in enrollment, you can call 309-787-6303. And now let's go see some infants.
Hey, Deb, do you have anything to add to your video?
Welcome to Skip Along. My name is Mary.
There's Mary.
Turn.
Deb Bond, I'm the director here at Milan Skip Along. We serve children ages.
Here comes Mary.
My name is Mary Rosa Castaldo, and I'm the director here at the Moline campus. I have been in the early childhood field for over 30 years. Let me start by sharing a little bit about our program. The Moline campus was, prior to COVID, was licensed for 234 children. We are currently licensed for 166 children. The Moline campus has 13 classrooms. We have 2 infant classrooms, 2 toddler classrooms, 3 2-year-old classrooms, 5 preschool classrooms, and 1 school-age classroom. Classroom that I'm in right now is one of our 2-year-old classrooms. This is a zebra classroom. The majority of our classrooms are set up similar to this. We have individual learning spaces for children. For example, I'm standing in the manipulatives area or center. This is the block center. Over here is a reading center.
This center is dramatic play. We have science over here, and we have art at the tables, and we also have a music center here. If you are interested in joining our school family, you can reach out to our family service provider. Her name is Elizabeth Watson. She can be reached at 309-764-8110. We hope to see you soon. Thank you.
I want to be part of your school family, Mary. We miss you.
Today we are celebrating the years of serving children and families in our area. My name is Jill Lyon, and I'm the site director at the Davenport campus. Our center was opened in August of 2003, and I've been with the center for 16 years. Today, I'd like to show you a preschool classroom. This is the Dragonflies. As you can see, there are many interest areas. These areas are available for self-selection that all align with our creative curriculum. Staff add new materials to those areas that help explore new concepts and further current learning themes. In the Arts Center, children can find many materials that allow them to use their own creativity. Personalized art opportunities facilitate communication skills, including prank concepts, as staff dictate for children. The Smartboard technology allows staff to incorporate additional interactive experiences for children, and they enjoy the music and movement activities. In the block area, children use many materials to discover math, social studies, geography, and problem-solving skills. Thank you for visiting the Davenport campus. Happy 50th birthday, Skip Along.
Happy birthday, Skip Along. Hello, everyone. My name is Pat Allison, and I am the site director for Skip Along's Rock Island campus. I've been employed with Skip Along for 37 years as of November 1st, and I am really and truly proud to say happy birthday to Skip Along. Today, I just only wanted to take just a few moments of your time just to share with you a little bit about my program. I serve children ages 6 weeks to 12 years of age. Although I serve those ages, today I am just going to talk to you very briefly about my school age program. There's 3 key things that is going on at the Rock Island campus that you need to know about, along with many other things. One of the things that we are doing at the Rock Island campus is that we are offering assistance to families with e-learning. Each day, the children bring their Chromebooks to school, and we set aside a time for all of the children with quiet time to actually engage and interact with their teachers. Also, another thing that we're doing here at the Rock Island campus during this pandemic time, we are still trying to incorporate some of the activities that we've done prior to the pandemic. One of the programs that we was heavily involved in, we was involved in what is called the STEM program. We're still doing that. However, we're doing it, but we're doing it through a doing virtual reality. So what the students are doing is they are interacting with the coaches, through virtual reality, and they bring to the children information or materials in order to create a project. One of the other enhancement opportunity that we continued on with is through Cub Scout. That's where, you know, they come in and they still interact with the children. They don't physically come in, but they still bring to us activities that the children participate in within the school. Although as you look around the classroom, you can also see that, you know, there's various centers that is set up. You know, children have the opportunity. We have block play, as you can see, block. We also have like the housekeeping area. We have a quiet area. We have book. We have anything that they could potentially enhance their learning throughout the day. So for those of you who are looking for childcare for ages 6 weeks to 12 years of age, you can either contact myself, Pat Allison, or you can contact my family service provider, Tanisha Harris. And the number for my site is 309-788-0426. Tell anyone and everyone that you know these are the services that we're offering here for our families. Again, I would like to say happy birthday, Skip Along.
Thank you, Pat. That was fabulous.
Good evening. This is Skip Along's Home Child Care Network. This is Bullfrogs and Butterflies Home Child Care, Blanca Williams. She also has preschool for all in her home. So there's an 04 certified teacher that comes in and teaches the children right here in the home. Children do not have to leave. This is Maggie, and they're just getting done with snack right now and washing their hands. And here's a little baby who just got done eating his snack.
Okay. Ready? You guys want to stand up and dance? Come on, boy.
That is fabulous. Chelsea, before we go on, can we just go back to our directors and have just a quick Q&A with them? I want to introduce them. Mary and Jill, Pat, and Deb, will you guys raise your hand and wave? Thank you, thank you. And Deb Bronson is our Chief Program Officer. Thanks for joining us tonight. Over the past 50 years, some of you aren't even alive for 50 years, but how has early care and education changed over the time that you've been involved teaching and developing young children?
Are you asking anyone?
Yep, anyone, any of the directors, and Deb yourself can join.
Oh, yeah, I've been around a while. A newbie to Skip Along, that's for sure. But oh my goodness, I think there's a wave of it needs to be academic, and then it needs to be social emotional, and then we're back to the academics. And currently with the pandemic, I think we're very all aware of our own emotional well-being, let alone those of the children. Also, the huge piece of the pandemic has been that childcare and our teachers have been recognized as essential, an essential part of business and economy and emotional development for children and sanity for parents, and that's definitely different. And I, for one, am hoping that that stays with us through our future, that we begin to see as a nation that there is so much value in early childhood. That's my biggest takeaway so far, Marcy.
Yeah, I know that Mary and Jill are both sporting their essential worker t-shirts. Mary, Jill, Deb, and Pat, do you have anything else you want to add? The changes that have happened with early care and education over your time?
What I would like to add is that a long time ago, individuals, or you would say people, did not see us as educators. Mm-hmm. And I think now, with so much focus on early childhood, they're seeing us as, an essential part of their lives. So that's the biggest change that I could see, is they saw us back then as babysitters, and now they see us as educators.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would just echo that from Pat and Deb, that with the more brain research that comes available, there's that push for how much learning actually takes place within the first 5 years. So how important our role is. And as Skip Along a few years ago, we initiated a process where each classroom door lists the age group. And so you know how many days those children have been here. And so you can think about how much learning is taking place in just that short amount of time. So I think that's a great visual for families to see when they come in.
Thanks, Jill. It's that 2,000 days. It's 2,000 days by the time a child is born until they enter kindergarten. Yep. So we really have that visual set up, as Jill was saying, so that families can understand, and our teachers and our kiddos, so they can understand, what are all the development stages are going to happen in such a short time period. 2,000 days seems like a long time, but we all know it goes like that. Mary, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
Let's see, I have been in the field for 30 years, so the dynamics has definitely changed. I started in Milan and moved to Moline about 3 years ago. I will say that our program in Moline stayed open the entire time during the emergency, for emergency child care, and we transitioned fairly smoothly into regular care. I think we reopened for regular care on June 8th, and I think our families and our children have adjusted very well. I'm hopeful that we will get back to some sort of normalcy in the future for all of us, but for the most part, the transition has been fairly smooth.
Great. Thank you. I think we have someone's going to read us a story. Is that right, Chelsea?
Yep. We have Happy Birthday Cupcake, Miss Katrina.
Hi, friends. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Miss Katrina. I'm the mental health therapist here at Skip Along. We are here today because we are celebrating Skip Along's 50th birthday, and I need you to help me celebrate. So we're going to read this book, and it's called Happy Birthday Cupcake. Today's my birthday, Cupcake said, and I want to share it with friends. But what kind of party should I have? She called Muffin over to plan, and they took a long walk. I know, Cupcake said. I'll have a beach party. We'll make sprinkle castles and play in the sun. That might work, said Muffin. But the beach is so hot and some of us might get chirpy. Cupcake touched her frosting. Muffin was right. I know, said Cupcake. I could get a big boat. Who wouldn't come to a floating party? work, said Muffin. But if the ship rocks, Soup might lose his lunch. Cupcake fidgeted with her wrapper. Muffin was right. She had to think of something else. I know, Cupcake said. I'll get everyone makeovers. It's so much fun getting frosted and sprinkled. That might work, said Muffin. But I think some of your friends would find makeovers icky. Just think about Hamburger. Cupcake felt like she was starting to crumble. Muffin was right again. Hamburger barely even liked himself with ketchup. I know, Cupcake said. We could play musical chairs and I could find a band. That might work, said Muffin. But if someone sits down really fast, you'll be squished. Cupcake didn't know what to do. She was running out of ideas. Well, what about a limbo, she said, with a prize for the winner. Big prizes, asked Muffin. Oh, yes, that might work. But can you get that low? As they reached Muffin's place, Cupcake sighed. Oh, I'm going to go still before I think of a good idea. Let's just take a break in my garden, Muffin said. That might work, Cupcake agreed. Cupcake pushed open the gate and... surprise! Cupcake's friends were all there. And while they were dancing, a few friends did get a little drippy. Cupcake didn't limbo too well and did get a little bit squished. But it was still the best party that anyone could remember. So friends, we want you to come to our birthday party too. Come and join us and help skip along, sing happy birthday. Goodbye, friends.
Goodbye, Katrina. Thanks, Katrina. Do you want to unmute yourself for a moment? Do you want to talk about their mental health program that is certainly unique to early care and education, but also for the state of Illinois and Iowa?
Absolutely. So I feel so proud to be part of the mental health program here at Skip Along. Obviously, it is a very unique thing that we're able to have at our center. It's been a little difficult, challenging with COVID, but I have to say with the virtual connection, phone connections, you just do things a little different, but in the end, we're getting the job done and it's going as best as we can expect it. So it's all good. Pete the cat would say it's all good.
That's right. Well, thanks, Katrina, and thanks for reading the story, and thanks for being here and celebrating our 50 years.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. All right, I think we're going to turn this over to Deb Bronson.
Hi, happy birthday, Skip Along. And as Marcy said, I'm Deb Brownson. I'm the Chief Program Officer. I'm kind of the new kid on the block. I've only been here just over a year, but I tell you what, I have the honor of working with probably the team that's been around the longest. Pat Allison, Malia, Deb Bond, Jill, and Mary. The number of years, I didn't add it up, but would be quite a few. And they are a phenomenal group of women to work with. I also have to add Larita because she's become one of my important people as well. And again, Larita's been with our agency for a very long time. We did hear COVID come up a couple of times during this discussion, and never did I ever think when Marcy brought me on board and my team hired me that I would be in the middle of a pandemic less than 6 months into my hire. I never thought I would have that experience in a lifetime, let alone working in a new agency. And it has been a trying time, as I spoke to earlier, certainly emotionally for our families and our children and our staff, but also financially. The centers were closed except for our Moline Center. We've had to drop down class sizes in order to oversee mitigation so that we feel 100% certain we are doing everything we possibly can to not have or bring COVID into the centers. So as part of our birthday celebration, we decided that we would have a hygiene drop-off. And so at our Skip locations, there's going to be a box outside that if you'd like to, you are more than welcome to contribute. And the kinds of things we're looking for are masks and gloves and diapers and wipes. Chelsea told me anything that's COVID related, we figure out how we're going to use it. And if we don't use it, we can then move it over to Larita and she can use the resources for the families at Open Door. Another opportunity, if you'd like to not go to the store and purchase something and drop it off, is that you can donate per our website. And as you registered for this evening to get into the room, I believe Chelsea took your email address. So she's got your email address and now you're ours. So we will send this along so that if you would like to make a donation, a monetary donation, you are more than welcome to do that. That's all I have, Marcy.
That's great. Thanks, Deb, and thanks everybody for the Day of Giving. As we know, COVID has struck us differently, but the 50th celebration, we were going to begin in May. We were going to pair it up with our Bogies, our golf tournament, but then we had to stop that. Then we're going to do it again in July, and here we are now at the end of September. But it doesn't matter how we celebrate it. We're all here together and making sure tonight is a wonderful evening. And we'll transition now. I think we have a couple videos that we're going to watch again. Chelsea, is that true?
Mm-hmm.
We got our fingers crossed. Wow.
I just want to point out, Pat sent me this today that one of the kids made, and just what it says at the bottom, that they taught me that I was a part of a family with everybody, no matter if we are related or not.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, that's a great sentiment for the past 50 years. And Deb asked me a question in the chat, what's my favorite part about working with Skip? And that would be just hanging out with the kids and being able to, be on with them while they're learning and exploring, and just kind of taking away their energy and their fun as they are just exploring and being just their own selves in comparison to being behind the computer and working on emails and projects. So that's certainly my favorite part, is being around the kids. I know because of COVID, we have been working remotely, and we are all anxious to get back into our offices and be back around the children as well. So I want to, before we close, I want to open this up for any questions. It's the time to ask us anything. What questions do you have from the audience? You can unmute yourself or you can write it in the chat.
I had a question for Craig Shoemaker. How are you, Craig?
Oh, Craig, you're muted. You're muted. Unmute yourself. Charles, can you?
How are you, Craig? And where are you?
Well, thank you. It's lovely to see all of you. I was, as many of you know, I was on the board for 16 years at Skip, and so I recognize many of you.
Yes.
And I'm enjoying my retirement here in Chandler, Arizona.
Wow.
I was for those that don't know me, I was a marketing professor at St. Ambrose University, and so we did a lot of innovative things during my tenure at Skip. For example, I remember in a meeting asking Lori that there's a lot of daycare centers in the Quad Cities, and I said, what makes us unique and different? Because again, I'm a marketing guy.
Right.
So she said, we have a curriculum that we go through this and we go through that. And then I said, why don't we advertise that? So that's how we became Skip Along Child Development Center instead of Skip Along Daycare Center, because that defined and what made us uniquely different from everybody else in the Quad Cities.
Wow.
And I'll pass one other thing to you. During my time there, we did a study, and some of you may again remember this.
I remember.
We wanted to find, and we wanted to determine whether the kids that spent time with us were ready for kindergarten. So we started an extensive study of our Skip teachers and the children's kindergarten teachers. And we wanted to determine whether or not we were making a difference in preparing them for kindergarten. And it was absolutely certain that the longer the child spent with us, the better prepared they were for kindergarten. So we absolutely proved that. So I'm an absolute believer in early childhood development.
Great.
Thank you, Craig. That was outstanding.
I believe very strongly in what Skip has done.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here and your long-term support. And you know, how has it changed? So 16 years ago, we had Open Door. Not 16 years ago. Were you on the board when we began Open Door?
I don't remember Open Door so much. I remember as we expanded. I remember when we opened Bettendorf, and I remember some of the other the major things we did, and it was just so well done. I was going to ask the question about what we had an operation at Trinity Hospital at one point, and I don't know. I didn't hear whatever happened to the Trinity Hospital daycare center.
That closed just about 7 years ago.
Okay.
They needed that space to use for their nursing program.
Okay.
And that was one of the first things that Lori left at about that time that she left, and that's when I came in. That was one of my first projects, is to help transition those families. Those families certainly love the Trinity campus. It was about 53 kiddos, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, and they just love that little boutique and very homey feel at the hospital.
And it met a community need where it provided care for healthcare workers, and that's what it was designed for.
Yes. And we continue to work really closely with both Genesis and Unity Point, and to continue to develop those partnerships and those collaborations, even during COVID, but also outside of COVID as well.
Well, keep doing your extraordinarily good work, because it's absolutely important that these little ones have that early childhood development before they start into the school system.
Absolutely. Thanks, Craig. Who else
You're
has
welcome.
any questions?
We have a question in the chat box from Claudia. She said, how much longer do you think we will be in COVID mode?
Claudia, don't I wish I had a crystal ball to answer that one. That would be fabulous. I think that's up to the CDC and our health departments. I don't know if we have any measurement of when we think we're going to be over COVID. I know people are working really hard on a vaccine, and we continue to work together to make sure that we're washing hands, watching our space, and also wearing a mask. All those three things will certainly help in the mitigation strategies. Do you have any insight, Claudia, of when do you think COVID's going to end?
Maybe sometime next year.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Other questions? Anybody else have anything that they want to add? Malia, I don't think we heard from you. What's the biggest change that you've seen over your tenure since you've been here? You didn't quite start in the church basement, but you started, you've been around a few years. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. We want to hear everything you say, Malia. There you go.
This is my 39th year with Skip Along. So we were just one center when I started. It was up in East Moline, and since then we now have 5 centers: the Home Network, Open Door, and 2 resource and referrals. So I guess the biggest is the growth of the program for sure. Along with the network's grown from the Quad Cities all the way to Peoria. So we're pretty much on our way to taking over the state of Illinois, I think.
Yes, Malia. Yes, Malia. Anybody else have any other questions or thoughts, or even some memories? Some people who might be on here want to share something like Craig did. Share a memory in the few minutes we have left together. I just always appreciate how we continue to keep that social justice model in front of us. I know now we're continuing to work our diversity, inclusion, and equity and engagement with our staff, but also our kiddos. I think that's probably one of the growth points that I really appreciate, is to be able to talk with children about their 2 dads or their 2 moms, being able to bring in all different kinds of conversations for our children so that they can be well-rounded and well-prepared for school, but also to have our teaching staff being able to look like our children as well. I think that is a huge celebration for Skip as well.
Marcy, the only other thing in the chat box is Deb wants to know if Mary wants to start the happy birthday song.
Yes, in 1 minute, because Chelsea, I have to say thank you to you. So setting this up, this was all Chelsea. So kudos to Chelsea for putting this together. I know technology did not work, but it had worked earlier, and we appreciate everything that you did to make tonight such a wonderful event. So
thank you.
Thank you,
Chelsea.
All right, Mary, would you like to lead us in the birthday song?
All right, everybody has to unmute.
I'm going to step away from the microphone. I don't think anybody wants to hear me.
Right. Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy
Happy birthday
to
you.
Come on, Mary.
Happy birthday.
Well, I guess we better stay exactly where we are in our field because I don't know what happened there, but I heard like
No.
Sing happy birthday.
Sierra sing.
Sierra.
Thanks, Mary.
Well, again, it's great to see familiar faces and friends from the past. And again, really thank you for coming out and celebrating 50 years with Skip Along. It has been a wonderful 50 years. I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm glad that you have been able to be a part of it as well. And take care, and thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Happy birthday, Skip
Happy
Along.
birthday.
Thanks, Marcy.
Bye.
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 Thanks for joining.